What's everybody? What? Oh my goodness. That's how my brain feels right now, boys and girls, men and women, non binary folk. That's how my brain feels right now. Welcome to another Just Breathing Live, number 4, I think. It's good to be back on a Wednesday night. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is when we do this live stream normally, so be there to post questions, topic starters, all that jazz. I was thinking while I was going to the bathroom right before this, I was thinking that I need to start writing down some topics because I have a lot of good ones that I want to talk about throughout the day. And then the live stream happens, and it usually turns out just like my intro just did, and I forget all of them. So I'm going to try to do my best without having written those down in the time between when I thought of it and the time right now that I could have written them down, but I still didn't because I procrastinated. So I'm going to do my best to try and remember the topics that I thought about. I'm in a chair today. I'm not sitting on the floor. My butt could not take that. It went numb about 10 minutes into the last live stream, so I'm going to sit in a chair this time, and hopefully we'll be able to last a lot longer. So, so what's going on right now? Well, first, let me talk about myself because, that's why you come to these streams, is to listen to me talk about myself. And you know what? You're not here to tell me to stop or you're not interested. You could post that in the comments if you want. But because you're not here, I'm going to talk about myself for a minute. I've been in a weird spot lately where I just feel very discombobulated. I feel very frustrated at life. I feel very just kind of, I don't know. I have a good life. I have 3 great kids. I have a beautiful wife. I have a great job in terms of paying the bills and health insurance and all that jazz. I feel good physically. I eat well. I work out every day. I'm doing good in a lot of regards. But I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm just feeling very out of sorts, and I'm feeling very down, I guess is the word. I'm feeling very, definitely not depressed. I'm more frustrated. And I think that frustration comes from 2 things. First thing, and this is my kind of usual go-to, is I already kind of know what I want to do in my life, and I feel like what I'm doing currently is I'm giving a lot more time and energy to the things I don't want to do, and I have very little time left over to do the things that I really feel I'm gifted and talented in. So that's a frustrating thing, and I'm sure a lot of people besides myself have felt that way, where you just feel like I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm stuck here. And maybe you're stuck in a job, maybe you're stuck in a relationship, you're stuck in a just life circumstance that keeps you from doing the things that you want to do. I'm in that spot where I have a great life, but I'm not really pouring myself into the things that I feel like I should be doing. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating, and that frustration comes from not loving my job that I'm currently in, not loving the situation I'm in there, and feeling like I'm giving so much of my life and time and energy to that, and it's not really getting me any closer to the actual goals that I have in my life, in the things that I love and the things that I'm talented in. So that's frustrating. And also, the frustration comes from the fact that I'm afraid to leave it. And there's a lot of factors there. There's the fact that I chose to have kids early in life, get married early in life, and so I'm responsible for them now. And that's a huge factor. And it doesn't negate some of the frustration that I feel and feelings of kind of missing out on the life that I could have. Because honestly, I don't feel like I honestly don't feel like I still couldn't have the life and do the things in life that I feel I'm gifted in and should be doing as a service to the world, uh, instead of what I'm doing now. But I'm afraid to leave it, and that's kind of what it comes down to. Um, but then there's also, and I have a lot of great people in my life. Have a lot of great people that, if I'm honest with them, they're able to speak into my life and kind of speak some truth and speak some wisdom into my life. And I was speaking with the great and mighty mom today, and yeah, she always has wisdom for me. She was my teacher growing up. I was homeschooled from second grade through eighth grade. So she's spoken a lot into my life, and I love her for that. And yeah, she said it could just be an issue of trust as well. I am a Christian, and I believe that God has a plan for all of our lives, and I believe that He is working out that plan in all of our lives as long as we are kind of in line with His will and purposes and the way that He's leading us each step of the way. And we're kind of obedient. When He says go here, you go here. When He says don't go here, you don't. And that's something that comes just through prayer and through time spent in God's Word and time just spent in relationship with Him. And that's what is so cool about Christianity, is that it offers that relationship with the divine. And yeah, and part of kind of following that leading means that there has to be a level of trust involved. And so if you see something in life not going your way, or the way that you envisioned it, or the way you wanted it to go, are you going to get frustrated, like me, at the fact that it's not happening the way I want it to happen? Or are you going to, in spite of that, trust that God is still in control and trust that He still has a plan for your life? And I'm kind of stuck in this weird place where I'm like, yes, I should do more of that. I should do more of that, and I'm not doing it well right now. Also, I don't think God can move someone who's stuck, if that makes sense. I don't think God can move somebody that isn't already in motion. There's an analogy there, but I can't really remember it. I just have molasses in my head. Molasses is gross. All of you people that like molasses in your pies and stuff like that, that is gross. What is that pie called? What is that pie? Not a sugar pie. What is that? Not a whoopie pie. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe somebody can leave it in the chat. But yeah, that pie is gross. Off topic. But yeah, that's kind of how I've been feeling lately. I try to work it out in so many different ways. I try to work out physically harder, and just to try and like clear my mind and focus myself and feel like I have some semblance of control over my life. And that's something that working out is really good for. If you feel out of control in your life, physically, in your diet, in your marriage, in your parenting, whatever it is, get control of one area of your life, and that'll translate into other areas. So I feel like I have the physical, the exercise and diet area pretty solid right now. And that's helpful. That's really helpful. I'm struggling in the relational, spiritual, emotional side of my life. All of the things that working out definitely helps with, but they kind of need their own workouts to really be successful in those areas. And I'm definitely struggling in those. I don't know if anybody else has these struggles where they just struggle with. I struggle with friendship. I definitely am not getting together with friends and hanging out with them and investing myself in their lives to the point where I know what's going on in their lives. I know their struggles. I'm speaking into their lives and trying to give wisdom to them to help them in their situations. I definitely am not investing a lot of time in meditation. And I don't mean like yoga meditation. I mean like meditation where I like sit in silence and allow myself to think, just sit and think, and allow my mind and myself to process everything going on in my life, everything going through my mind, every situation in my life. I don't really give myself space to just do that. I have a terrible habit, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, but of filling the times that could be times of silence with distraction. And it's easy and it feels good to be distracted, to not sit with your thoughts. But I think that's harming me emotionally. So I really need to step up in that way and say, oh, here's an opportunity not to fill it with distraction, but an opportunity for growth emotionally. And I think that would come with, you know what, or relationally. Maybe I could fill that time with a phone call to a friend. And I hate calling people. I think it's because I do it for work. I think that's part of it is I talk to a lot of people on the phone for work. So I just don't feel, I'll send a text, but man, I really should call people because that's so much more personal. That shows so much more care for somebody than sending them a text. If you're one of my friends, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and call you more. But yeah, I got a lot of growth. That's what it comes down to. Felt like I needed to talk that out, get that off my chest a little bit, and let you know that we all struggle. We all go through stuff. We all are not perfect. We all are growing one step at a time. And I think right now I'm looking and searching for what's the right next step for me. Maybe not the next 5 steps, maybe just the next step. And then kind of be satisfied where I'm at in life, which probably comes back to trusting God more, that He's in control of my life, and then looking for that next step and being satisfied that I'm moving in a direction, whatever that is. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. There's a lot of other stuff going on, man. What other stuff? Let's get off this personal topic because that's boring. Man, what's happening right now? There's a lot of news happening right now. The news never stops, which is unfortunate. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of people talking about the fact that there was a Batgirl, and this is like going on the geek side again. Sorry for all of you that aren't into superheroes. But there was a Batgirl movie that was in production apparently and got canceled in the DC universe, which is a really interesting thing because actually it's not interesting at all. No one really cares about Batgirl. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that. All right, so moving on from that topic. No, I'll come back to this. It is interesting to see that got canceled, but then you have 2 movies coming out and that are still in production right now that involve way crazier circumstances. Like, for example, Aquaman 2 is in production right now. And if anyone knows who is in Aquaman, you have Jason Momoa. Awesome. Also, you have Amber Heard. Maybe you've heard of her. Maybe you've watched some of the court trials with her and Johnny Depp. But she was supposed to be in this movie. I don't know if she actually will still be in the movie or if they're going to cut her out of it. But man, that would be so weird if she was left in that movie. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people are just ready to go see a movie with Amber Heard in it. I don't know, man. That's pretty wild to me. That's pretty wild to me. But yeah, I just think the DC universe, I mean, the Marvel universe had its kind of heyday already, and I feel like it's sort of slowly petering out, and whatever they try to do, whatever show they do, whatever movie they put out, it just doesn't seem to really spark that same interest that was there when they, Iron Man came out, and then Captain America came out, and then the Avengers came out. Like, mind-blowing what they were able to do with the CGI work and with the storyline, and how they were able to weave all of these characters together, and it was awesome. It was very, very well done. I didn't love every movie, but I thought the way that they were able to keep things kind of connected and consistent, plot-wise, with multiple movies was cool. It was cool to see. DC has not been able to accomplish that. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's executives. I don't know if it's they just didn't have the right people in place for the movies that they've made. Wonder Woman was fine. Aquaman was fine. Man of Steel, fine. Not great. Justice League and the what was the other one? Batman v Superman, not great. Apparently the Snyder cut of the Justice League movies is great. Is a masterpiece. That's not what was put out to the world, though. So, just going off of that, they've just really struggled to kind of maintain consistency and maintain any type of momentum with their movies. Either they've had struggles with the actors, or they've had struggles with the storylines and scripts, and just all kinds of problems over there at DC. Which is sad because I love DC. Like, if I had to choose between DC and Marvel, I would do DC all day. Batman is the man. It's my favorite superhero. There are so many directions that they could go with that, and they have chosen to kind of just stay in the very boring Batman verse. Instead of kind of exploring some of maybe I guess they've done dark Batman, even darker Batman, and then I think with the Patterson, what's his first name? Robert Pattinson, right? Robert Pattinson, yeah. With that one, I think they went like super dark Batman, which is fine. I like that, but I just don't think he really encapsulated the dark Batman that I got to experience from some of the Frank Miller comics, like The Dark Knight and some of those comics where you just see a different side of Batman that's so much grittier, so much, he's struggling emotionally and he's struggling morally, and it's just such a cool human Batman. It's not this fantastical Bruce Wayne millionaire or billionaire kind of playboy, and then he's suddenly a great superhero Batman. Like, there's so much more complexity to that. And I didn't see the new Batman movie. Maybe Robert Pattinson did a great job in doing that. I kind of listened to some of the reviews, and I just wasn't that interested. Wasn't that interested in that movie. Maybe he'll prove me wrong if I watch it one day. But I think that DC needs to scrap all of its current projects, because I think they're working on like a Flash movie with Ezra Miller, and that guy has a strange past and present. He's a weird dude and does weird things, and he probably shouldn't be in movies. But they have like, I think they should scrap all of their projects, and then I think they should put that money into giving Henry Cavill, who played Superman, a humongous check to play in future movies, And then I think they should rehire Ben Affleck as Batman. He was fine. My favorite is Christian Bale. They're not getting Christian Bale for Batman again. So get Ben Affleck. He was a cool, older Batman that's already worked with Henry Cavill. And just do some awesome solo Batman and Superman movies. Just give us good Superman and Batman content. It could be multiple movies. I don't care. You know, you have so many comics and storylines to pull from for both characters. You could do something cool. It doesn't need to be original. Just give us some live action versions of the comics and it would be awesome. I would love it. I would love it. And just forget about some of these side characters that, you know, the Wonder Woman 1984 flopped. Let's just let that sit for a while before we revisit her. Aquaman, I mean, did we ever care about Aquaman? I don't think we ever cared about Aquaman, but we were told that we needed an Aquaman movie. So there it is. We got an Aquaman movie. Other than that, I don't really need to see a lot of other characters in that universe. I just want some solid Superman and Batman movies. That would be fantastic. Scrap all you have, take all that money, give me some fantastic Superman and Batman movies, and I will be a happy DC comic fan. But I don't know if they can do that. I don't know. It seems like a tall order for them right now. For some reason, I don't even know. I think it's Warner Brothers. I think that's who is in charge of DC. I'm not sure, but they're just doing a terrible job with all of their projects right now, and they need to do some new hires or, man, just get on the ball, man. You're struggling. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Don't care that much about Batgirl being canceled. I didn't really need that movie anyway. I don't really need any of the movies coming out from DC right now. You can just cancel all of them and, just give me some Batman and Superman movies. That would be great. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Make sure... I'm going to say it for a while in every live stream. Make sure if you are a comic book fan, you go check out the Rippaverse. There's a new comic book series coming out of Eric July's newly formed comic book media. And it looks really good. It looks really good. He's trying to combat some of the lame... politically motivated comics that have come out recently, which basically are just free advertising for his comic series because he's like, we don't have any of the political crap or ideology in our comics. It's just going to be straight story, character. That's it. It's just going to be, give me good Superman or good superhero content. And he's got all original characters, all original stories, and it looks really cool. It looks really cool. So if you like that type of stuff, go check out the Rippaverse. He's got a lot of crowdfunding campaigns going on right now, basically to amp up his company, his ability to hire workers, amp up his distribution and printing of the comic books. And yeah, I know he's at like 3.5 million, maybe over that by now, and that's incredible. That's incredible for a guy to have a goal of 100,000, reach 3.5 million. Let's go. Let's go. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What else is going on? Oh man, I guess we can talk about politics for a little bit because it's kind of relevant right now. But I guess Trump's home. I don't even know what Mar-a-Lago is. Is that his home or is that like a community center? I don't know. It's so big. It's so big. Every image that I've seen of Mar-a-Lago is humongous, and there's always like hundreds of people there. I don't know. Maybe that's what he likes in a home. I'm not sure. But Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago got raided by the FBI, and he put out, a statement being like, "This is ridiculous. No president in U.S. history has ever had his home raided," and that's true. That's true. Not even Nixon. Not even Nixon had his home raided by the FBI after he sent people to break in to another party's headquarters, which is wild. It's so wild when you really go back and you look into that whole story of President Nixon and Watergate. Jeez. Guy had some cojones on him. But yeah, so Trump's home got raided by the FBI. Apparently they were looking for confidential information that wasn't secured well enough for their standards or something of that nature. I don't know. And frankly, I don't really care that much. I'm pretty solid on this one that the FBI should not be raiding the homes of past presidents. I don't think we want to set that precedent for future presidents. I don't think we want the next guy going in there and saying, well, there was a lot of stuff that was shady about this president. We should go raid his home. And this is the thing that you have to understand about the FBI is that the FBI answers directly to the executive branch, the president. So the executive branch is the one saying, I want this information. I want you to be investigating these types of things. And they're basically leading the FBI in what and how they are to operate. And that's every president. When Trump was in office, he was kind of dictating what he wanted to see and hear and find out from the FBI. Now, he wasn't a big fan, obviously, of the intelligence agencies because of some of the work that they did against him, which was very politically motivated. And I think the intelligence agencies are very captured, I think is the right word, by politics, and they should be very outside of that. But that's what happens when the president appoints the heads of the intelligence agencies. I wish it was more merit-based, or I wish it was like they came up the ranks in the FBI and became the head of the FBI like any other organization, or they were, if they're public servants, they were voted in by the people. I don't love that about as much as I love presidential appointees, because in both of those cases, you have zero experience, whereas someone that comes up through the ranks of the FBI and then is placed in that position, I don't know, is more experience within the intelligence agency, knows how to get the most out of it, potentially, and is still not directly beholden to the president, the executive branch. So it's very, I just don't like the whole system. I don't like the whole system. I don't care who's in office. I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian or Green Party or who it is. I don't like the fact that the FBI is basically like, what does the president want? That's what our focus is going to be, because it could be anything. And if you're a politician for life, like Joe Biden is, or like many past presidents have been, where they're just lifelong politicians, you're thinking about winning, and you're thinking about opponents, and you're thinking about that as like a major focus rather than a lot of, national issues that maybe you should be focused on. And I feel like that's what this whole Trump thing is right now. I don't love Trump. I think he's kind of an idiot. But at the same time, I don't want any president getting his house raided by the FBI. I don't think it looks good to the outside world that we're doing that to past presidents. I think it makes us look just like some of the corrupt governments in South America, in Eastern Europe, in a lot of places where there's a lot of corruption and a lot of the government kind of attacking other political leaders due to basically just not liking them. And I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good look for our country. I mean, we already have had a string of terrible looks in the past couple of years. If you want to go back to the pullout from Afghanistan, that was great. That was great. I'm pretty sure we still have people like U.S. citizens in Afghanistan that we haven't rescued yet. And you don't hear about it on the news. You don't hear about it from the White House. We're done. We're done with that. And the world is watching. And I think they're just like, oh, okay, cool. This is how the U.S. operates. They don't finish anything. They can't do an effective withdrawal from a country. Gave up like, what did we give up? Like $40 billion in military gear or something like that when we left Afghanistan. It's just not a good look. Not a good look. And then you do stuff like this domestically, where you do it on U.S. soil, where you're going after a political opponent. Because honestly, Trump is still a political opponent, even though he hasn't declared that he's running for president in 2024. He's still a political opponent. A lot of people think he's going to run. Biden is terrified that he's going to run. So why not raid his home? Why not 90 days out from the midterm elections? Just saying. Why not kind of put this story in the press and be like, whoa, why is the FBI raiding Trump's home? I mean, what's going on? What is he doing? What did he do? And I don't know. I just think it's a little nefarious to kind of have this happen now, like I said, before the midterm elections, and just have it happen in general. Like, I don't know what judge signed off on the warrant. That should be looked into. I've heard different things that I'm not going to speculate on because I don't know too much about those. I don't know. There's some stuff that has come out about the judge that signed off on the warrant to do the FBI raid, where the judge has been involved in some other cases that shall remain nameless. And people involved in those cases may or may not have killed themselves. And so there's just a lot of questions that really need to be answered. Really need to be answered if the American people can regain trust. I feel like the past few years have just really broken the country of its trust at all in its governing body. And I know we're still a great country. I'm not talking about America as a whole, but I'm talking about just the kind of top institutions, whether it be the intelligence agencies, whether it be our federal government, whether it be our medical, our top medical fields that haven't always presented correct and haven't been always correct or upfront with information regarding to sicknesses and or pharmaceuticals. Yeah, I mean we have so many issues where pharmaceutical agencies are in bed with a lot of government individuals and government organizations, and that's not good. That's not good. Our mainstream media is captured by pharmaceuticals. They're all bought out and paid for by pharmaceutical companies, which is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, that makes me feel really good knowing that we can't even get accurate news, because if there's anything against the pharmaceutical companies, they'll be like, hey, man, we pay for your show. Like, it's just not good. It's not good. But yeah, I just don't think it's a good look. I don't think it's a good look that the FBI is raiding a president's home. I don't think it was a good look when they raided Project Veritas's homes, when some of the Project Veritas employees' homes were raided, I think including James O'Keefe, and they were looking for that Ashley Biden diary that Project Veritas obtained legally. I just, stuff like that scares me. Honestly, it just scares me because that's the type of stuff you read about in, you go do your history lessons of the Soviets and you're like, ooh, well, that hits a little close to home with what I've learned from the Gulag Archipelago, or you read books on Stalin, or you read books on just Marx in general, just communism in general, and just sort of the practices that have to take place in order to institute that as a viable political ideology. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just very scary. I don't really know like another word to describe it. I'm very cautious about my approach to it because I don't want to be partisan in any way. I don't want to be like, oh, don't do this to Trump, because I wouldn't want it done to Biden either. I think he's corrupt. I think Biden's corrupt, and I think there's so much evidence to that. His son is 100% corrupt, but I don't want their homes to be raided by the FBI with the next president. And honestly, I think something like that could happen. Like if you get like a Republican candidate in the White House in 2024, I mean, I could see some retributional thing take place where they send the FBI to, Joe Biden's home or Hunter Biden's home or something like that. And I know a lot of people are like, well, good. If you're going to declare war on conservatives and Trump supporters and all this type of stuff, good. Go after them. All right. You don't want to go down that path, though. You honestly just don't want to go down that path. It's not good. It's not good for America. It's not good for a republic to exist in this way where we're becoming, and don't get me wrong, I don't think we are really a good representation of a republic anymore, let alone a democracy. I don't really want a democracy. I like a republic, but I don't even think we're a good representation of that. There's too many lifelong politicians that are corrupt. There's too many there's just too many ways in which politicians are not representing their constituents in a real effective way. They're all kind of buddy together. It doesn't matter what political party you're a part of. Once you get to Washington, you're golden. As long as you play the games, you kind of get in with the right people, you'll make money and your family will be taken care of, and it's a good life. It's a good life. But it just gets rid of the entire public servant aspect of being a politician. And that's why I just don't think we're an effective republic anymore. But that even though we have to maintain whatever semblance we have of a republic. And a republic just doesn't legally go after its own politicians in that way unless they have evidence of some sort of malpractice or some sort of deviant behavior, or I don't know, something criminal. And I'm sorry, Trump I feel like it's the entire time that he was president and after, it's just been this I don't mean to use his words, but a witch hunt. It seems to be a witch hunt. I mean, you go back to 2016 and the whole Russia thing where he was an agent of Russia and they were investigating his ties to Russia, and it turns out that whole investigation was bunk from the beginning. Hillary Clinton knew that it was false when she made those claims, and in fact, she has ties to Russia, which, I mean, come on. We know. We know. But it's just kind of crazy. And then what was after that? There was all the different impeachment trials before January, and then January 6th happens, and then they blame Trump for it. Yeah. I don't know, man. All I know is it's not a good idea to start going after political opponents with our intelligence agencies, with the arm of the executive branch coming down on past political officials. I just don't like it. It's not good. Not a good look for the outside world, and it's definitely not a good look. I don't think Americans are looking at this and saying, yeah, this is all good. Like, sure, there's people that hate Trump that think it's a good thing, but they don't think logically. They're so just overcome with hate that they can't think clearly about what are the ramifications of this? What are the things down the road that we're going to regret from these actions? And that's a young, immature mindset to things. And I probably would have thought that, when I was younger, I would have thought in more of this is either good or bad, and there's no in between, or there's no outside. The decision that took place. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Not a good look. Not a fan of it. There better be some better evidence coming out of the FBI of why they did the raid, or they need to be held accountable for making a mistake, because you just can't do that to a former president. You just can't do it. Can't do it. All right, let's talk about something else. What else is going on? I'm trying to think of what else is going on. Oh, my birthday's coming up. Hey! I actually remembered my birthday, mostly because people are talking about it. If people were not talking about my birthday, I would have no clue that it was my birthday this week. I think, what is today? So my birthday is on Friday. Yeah, that shows you how much I care about that. I think I'm over 30 now, so I just don't think that I care anymore. I didn't really care for my birthdays before I was 30, and then 30 you have to kind of care because you're like, oh my gosh, a milestone. And then after that, they're just kind of meaningless, I guess, until you get to like what, 50? Is 50 big? 50 is big, right? You have like a big 50. You're half a century old. I think I'll care then. But probably until that point, I don't care. I care about my kids' birthdays, and I live through them. For any birthday celebration that I want to do, or I just live through them. So yeah, that'll be cool. I think I'm gonna get some steaks. I think that'll be a good birthday dinner. I mean, I will do that. I don't care about my birthday, but if it's gonna be my birthday, I might as well eat some steak, right? Right? That sounds good. Might as well eat some steak. And then I think we're going to Longwood Gardens at some point for a light show, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm guessing it's with their water fountains, because I know they did a bunch of renovations and built up their whole huge like water fountain display so they can do like light shows with that. I'm guessing that's what it is, which would be cool. I haven't seen that yet. But that'll be fun. Again, live through my kids, man. They're going to enjoy that way more than me, and I love that. That's what you become as a parent. You live through your kids, and And that is a great feeling because sometimes I think as an adult, we do kind of forget the joy of some things. Like we forget the joy of like learning how to play a video game, or we forget the joy of the first time we see a certain movie, or I don't know, just a lot of those small things. First time we read a book, the first time, and you get to kind of be that introducer of all of these fun things that meant a lot to you growing up. And you get to like watch your kids as they react to those firsts. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I enjoy that. I do enjoy that. And I don't want to miss that either. I want to make sure that I'm paying attention when those things happen. Because sometimes it's easy to be distracted. Like I talked about at the beginning, it's easy to fill my life with distractions, and maybe I might miss a first because of the distraction. So I'm going to be careful of that. But all right. I think I'm going to end it here. I'm feeling good. I could keep talking, figure out another thing to talk about, but I think I'm good for tonight. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you're watching this on the replay, we go live 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. If I'm not going live that week, I will let you know. But I'm going to try to keep this consistent. And we'll see you all on either another podcast or on this live stream. All right. Love you all.